Welcome, I am Royalty Rogue, and that's all you need to know. Now, I have recently reached Diamond 1 in Knockout City 1v1, so I decided to make this video in hopes that the tricks and tips that I learned will help someone else climb as well. If you're watching this video, I would like to start off by saying thank you and I appreciate you. Without much stuff out of the way, I've recently gotten to Knockout City and it's insanely fun to play, but it is published by literally one of the worst and most evil companies in the world named EA. You all know the reasons why. Don't need to explain that one. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who is skeptical. I mainly enjoy 1v1s. I would play 3v3, but unfortunately I don't have a group to play with. Anyway, I'm holding off on that. Most of the tips I'm going to share with you in this video is what I learned in 1v1s, but they can also help you out in 3v3s. Without further ado, let's jump out that car, do our intro poses, and get into it. Alright, so I'm going to start off with a tip that I feel is pretty important. First tip is to throw with confidence. This is something I learned to do when I was climbing up the ranks, mainly when I got to Sapphire. Throwing with confidence doesn't mean throw anything and everything at your opponent and just hope you hit them. Well, it's kind of like that a little bit, but not fully. What I mean is don't be afraid to take risky throws. It's very rare that every throw you do will be guaranteed to hit. You can throw as many fake outs as you want, but also you're going to have to be careful with that, because if you throw a fake out, then you can't catch immediately afterward. I learned that the hard way a couple times. Moving on. No matter how many times you do a fake out, it's not going to make your throw any less risky unless you bait out a catch, which again, the higher you climb up, the harder it is to do that. When it comes to Knockout City mechanics, no matter what, this has to be understood. It's all about mind games. Even if your opponent catches the ball, it's not over right then and there, and you should not panic. Speaking of your opponent catching the ball you throw, don't give up, don't panic from here. There's another way you can actually turn it around to your advantage. One of them is to create distance between each other. What I mean by that, the closer you are to your opponent, the easier it is for them to either hit you, bait out a catch attempt with the fake out, or just flat out tackle you. There are plenty of dodgeballs on the map with plenty of space unless you're in the danger zone. So don't be afraid to leave the area to find another dodgeball. This is especially true very early on. When you're charging a shot, your movement is slow. So when your opponent is charging a shot at you, you can use that to run. At this point, they have three options. One, they have to attempt the shot at you while they have the purple charge, depending on the tier, cancel the charge to chase after you, or they have to hold the charge and stay there and wait for you to come back. Sometimes that option is not available to them if the danger zone is closing in on them. No matter what they choose, it benefits you. Just be careful and don't completely turn your back on them, and periodically turn around to watch for lob or curve shots around the map. Now on the flip side, sometimes you're cornered and there isn't space for you to use this option. So when that happens, the first thing you need to do is don't panic spam catch. That is literally the worst possible thing you can do. I personally made that mistake myself several times. It doesn't only make you appear predictable, but it shows your opponent they're in your head, so they'll put more pressure on you and make more ballsy plays, no pun intended, because of that. Moving on from that, if you're in a situation, you can go for a tackle. Just in case you don't know, tackles are done when you dodge directly into someone, and this will make them drop the ball and get knocked up. And what this also does, if your opponent threw the ball at you as you were dodging, it will be deflected no matter what tier it is. So if you're cornered, you can go for a tackle, but be careful, because a missed tackle will leave you very open to get hit, not only once, but consecutive times. You could get KO'd very quickly. Alright, this next tip will require a little bit of explaining, but hear me out. Keep multiple dodgeballs near you if you can help it, because when you pick up a ball, it doesn't change its position unless it is thrown off the map or it's in the danger zone, then it goes back to its spawn point. So no matter how long a ball's been there, if it doesn't fulfill those two conditions, it will stay where it is. Hello guys, Royalty Rogue from the future here. So I tested this in a private match, and it turns out when it's not being seen for a few seconds, it may respawn. When I was doing it in the private match, it didn't respawn when I was near it, but when I ran away from it to a set distance and I wasn't in direct line sight of it, then it respawned after maybe like 5 or 6 seconds. I haven't tested this extensively, but it's something I found. But still, everything I was telling you about the dodgeballs still stands. So if you keep multiple balls near you, it can help relieve pressure off of you and put more pressure on your opponent. Here's an example. If your opponent has a tier 3 or higher ball because they're just making insane catches, you can use the extra dodgeballs around you to throw at your opponent. Granted, they can get around this strategy if they throw a curveball or a lob shot, but majority of the time they will throw it straight because it travels the fastest, especially at mid to close range. No matter how strong each dodgeball is, if two of them collide, they will neutralize each other, assuming they're thrown around the same time and direction. Knowing this, if you have multiple balls near you, when you throw 2 of them consecutively, you can either have them collide with it, catch it, dodge it, or get hit. Now, no matter what they choose, it benefits you. If they choose to catch it, they are effectively sacrificing a tier 3 ball for a tier 1, because the ball that they caught will replace the one they currently had. If they choose to dodge it, they'll cancel charge altogether as a setup for a fully charged red. If they get hit, then they drop the ball altogether, which opens up a chance for you to get another hit when you catch the ball the next time. And also at the same time, if they choose to throw the ball at you, assuming it's not a lob shot or a curve shot, then at that point, the ball will collide and neutralize each other. And also, even if he chooses to throw a curveball or a lob shot, if you throw yours first, he won't be able to catch in time. Sometimes it works depending on the distance, but it's not fully consistent, but it can help out. Now this tip applies to 3v3 team. Now, as much as I love catching, I will have to admit this. Catching isn't always the way to go. What do I mean by that? If you find yourself caught in a 1v2 or even a 1v3, you have to be very careful when you attempt to catch, because even when you catch a ball perfectly, you are locked in an animation, so it leaves you open for a split second, and if you don't catch the ball perfectly, you are knocked back and you are vulnerable for even longer. When this happens, you have to focus on dodging. If multiple balls are being thrown at you, then dodging will make all of them miss, likely make the balls land near you, and you can zone your opponents away from them. Of course, it's not 100% guaranteed, it depends on the situation, but I've been in multiple situations where I was in a 1v2 or even a 1v3, and then as soon as I caught the ball, I got hit by another one, so I couldn't even use the benefit of catching the ball in the first place because I got hit by the previous one. So don't always catch. As much as I love to do it, you can't always do it because it can be abused. Now, I didn't tell everything I know in this video because I'm still learning a lot myself, just like everyone else. But I hope what I said in this video will help you learn something and make your time in Knockout City much more enjoyable. Is there something you learned that's useful, or do you think I'm full of it? You already know what to do. Drop a comment below and share this video with anyone who you think can use it. Thank you for choosing to click, and I shall return soon.